and start firing. So what? It can happen. The question is this: each one of us will react differently. What decides, what determines is that this thing, how you react to a situation, is more important for a society, for this thing. When the time when Swamiji came, as Swamiji was there and he was giving his preaching and others, what happened was beyond him. Britishers had come, we were slaves, we were having this thing like that. Many people reacted to them in a different way. Like some people became very subservient, a good number of people supported them, a good number of people joined their armies, which were known as the native armies, and started crushing the other states like Jhansi and princely states and others, and helped them in enslaving India. The British soldiers were a very small number. The large number of them were from all this thing, our own making. But that's one thing. What impressed me most about him was this. I'm a lonely man. What is there that I can do? And then he thought, okay, let me awaken India. The response to the problem that he thought was कि क्या मैं सोए हुए भारत को जगा सकता हूं? क्या मैं इसको अपनी शक्ति को पहचानने की शक्ति दे सकता हूं? When he said and when this thing like that is, पुराना धर्म ये कहता था कि जो ईश्वर में विश्वास नहीं करता वो नास्तिक है. नया धर्म ये कहता है नास्तिक वो है जो स्वयं में विश्वास नहीं करता. In that situation, nobody else could have thought. And I tell you, so I've always thought, लाइफ के अंदर में अच्छा होगा, बुरा होगा, मुसीबत आएगी, अच्छा आएगा. That is a material that's not in my hand. पता नहीं दुश्मन के हाथ में, भगवान के हाथ में, प्रकृति के हाथ में, किसके हाथ में. सवाल ये है उसमें मैं रिएक्ट कैसे करूंगा, उसकी तैयारी. So that is about this thing. But anyway, you can talk about it in a greater privacy about what this thing is there. No, what I mean is it's very personal. I have been deeply influenced. Probably everybody in their deep distinct gets influenced, but in his own way. Great people influence everyone individually, depending upon their own circumstances, own thinking, own background, own setting in life. So probably what may be relevant to me not necessarily be fully relevant to you exactly, but it will be in the same direction. In Northeast, hydropower power capacity 50,000 megawatt, but as you have said, water flow from China will be restricted by China. Why one can think you set up power projects in Northeast? No, it is like this. That is, yes, you have got a point. It is a point. That is, in case there is a distinct diversion of water of Yangtze, as they call it, Brahmaputra in our listening area, that is, they take it above the Tibetan plateau. But there are 2-3 things. One is this, that once you are able to draw, the first thing is actually different. There is a large number of the catchment area of the water in our own this thing, which gets into the Bangladesh. Even if this thing, it will not be the entire water of the Brahmaputra that will stop, and also of the Mekong river. Because a large number of the portion of that comes within the Indian territory from where it has this thing. The second is this, that is, it may not be sustainable in the long run for China to have the water pumped in this thing, because amount of electricity that will be required for it to pump it and take it to all the way to Guangzhou and Shanghai probably will be totally cost ineffective. New technologies are likely to come where the sea water is going to be made potable at the much lesser price. Therefore, probably there may be only, they have not gone for any huge water resource diversion this thing. So far, they've only gone for small hydroelectric projects. Now, in the small hydroelectric projects and dams, the water flow will not get this thing here, but it will be regulated according to their needs, which can create problems for us that in the rainy season they may discharge more, and in some lean season probably they may restrain it, but not that it will be completely this thing. And it is so. I don't think that is just because the Chinese are doing it that the water is going to be this thing. But third thing is this, that there is an international law of the old riparian, of the lower riparian states and the higher riparian states. If the lower riparian states are not using that water, what justification do we have to tell them don't divert it? You know, if the water is coming and they are using it for drinking purpose, agriculture purpose, and then it is coming through area going to the ocean. Then the claim of the lower riparian state becomes the same. Once we have got the projects, once we have got the agriculture developed there, once we have got we are making use of it, then we'll say that the share of this thing will have to be governed by the United Nations. This thing. So all the more reason that is we should not allow this thing. We should have this thing. We should have the water there. Things which we. Yes. Also, what would be the three things which we as Mumbaikars could learn from our fellow citizens of the Northeast? Well, there are three things. I think the first thing is for the respect for fellow human beings. You know, it's like this instantaneous reaction if you are walking in an Oxford Street and you are an Indian and you find another Indian coming from the other side, you tend to turn your face to the other side. Whereas of some other nationality, he gives it a smile. If he can identify that he's the same. If a Jew thinks, if this thing is there, that is, have you observed this quality? You try to avoid your own people. You try to be less than warm to the strangers. You probably can be a little more warm and things like that. But your own people, you do not have a this thing. And tribal sentiment is basically what? My tribe man, right or wrong, is my man. I will die for him. That is what makes it a tribe. So if we can make India as a tribe, if the whole India was one tribe, I will have no problem. You don't need a national security advisor. Because then we'll have a tribal instinct. And then we'll have whatever is in the interest of one man is in the interest of everybody. We all share together, we all sing together. Just because one Gabuddha feels that, well, you have to fight, so we all fight. If I ask you, why are you fighting? You say, what tribe is there? If Angami tribe or Ahom tribe or Sema tribe, or they have decided to fight, they will fight. If the Lushais have to fight, they will fight. So the first thing that is that if you can learn to be tribal in looking at our national security. Tribal is not, there is a great amount of homogeneity in a tribe. If we can have that national homogeneity. Second thing is, say, respect for womanhood. They respect their women a lot. There's tremendous amount of it. The third thing is great sense of humor and liveliness. There are no dull faces. They are always giggling and laughing. Small this thing and others. We don't have those grim, constipated looks and others, indifferent जिंदगी है इस तरह जिंदगी जिए जा रहा हूँ मैं जैसे कोई गुनाह किए जा रहा हूँ मैं जिंदगी जिंदा रहने के लिए it's all right. Liveliness. I have 3, but I can count more. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Ajit ji. Your speech has rendered us speechless. It was not only interesting, but enlightening, inspiring, and moreover, eye-opening. You have given a lot of business ideas also to the august audience which is present here. In fact, friends, only 3 days ago, he completed 71 years. That means it's a matter of only 29 years after which we can call him as an old person. Friends, the profile which was provided to me for all these dignitaries was so impressive and so longish, but I have read out only 5 to 10% of it due to the constraints of time. Now I come to the introduction of Nivedita ji, who is chairing this session. She is the Vice President of our Vivekananda KENDRA. Nivedita ji is qualified as BSc MA B.Ed from Wardha district of Maharashtra. She is a Jeevan Vrati, that means a full-time worker of Vivekananda Kendra. She imparts training to teachers of 65 Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas. She is also into the coordination of Vivekananda Kendra Institute of Culture, Guwahati. She represented India in the international meeting of educational experts at Darwin, Australia, convened by UNESCO. She has written dozens of books, delivered thousands of talks on a variety of subjects. She has participated in a number of seminars and presented papers on education and other socio-cultural subjects. She is the recipient of Mananiya Vandaniya Savitribai Apte Award from Bharatiya Stri Jeevan Vikas Parishad Thane in the year 2005 for her sustained work for the society. Now I would invite Nivedita ji to address us and inspire and enlighten us.
Today's chief guest, respected Shri Ajit Doval ji, who is such an inspiration for all of us. The conveners of this program, Mananiya Shri Prabodh ji, Mananiya Shri Girish bhai, and all those who are present here, my namaskars to you all. You know, Swami Vivekananda, while sitting at the last bit of Indian rock, and when he meditated for 3 days and 3 nights, the topic of his meditation was that what should I do for my country, to raise my people? Because he had seen the poverty, the ignorance in which this great land had fallen. And it was on that rock he took the decision that to raise the confidence of my people in themselves, in their dharma, in their culture, in their way of life, in their society, I shall go to America. 10,000 miles away he went to raise the confidence and to get back the self-dignity for this great land. So a person with spirituality, for him distance is nothing, because he goes beyond that. And when he went to America, we know he also gave message for the whole humanity, that the whole universe is interconnected, interrelated and interdependent. And therefore, if you want to be happy, you have to pray for the happiness of all. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. And it was that message of Swami Vivekananda that this India is a cultural nation, it is a spiritual nation, it is organic oneness, as Ajit ji told us, that the extremities of the body get affected first. So therefore, after Vivekananda Kendra started, the founder Mananiya Shri Eknath ji Ranade, there was need to work all over the country, and yet he decided to go to those extreme parts of our country like Northeast, and that too, in that also Arunachal and Assam. He focused there, and so the Jeevan Vratis who had come and joined Vivekananda Kendra were told that when you go there, don't think you are something, great, more civilized in quotes, and you are going to civilize the people. Not at all. We are all really one people. Our culture is same. Our attitude towards life is same. Our inner values are same. Only outer expressions are different. And therefore, when you go there and when you feel one with the people, when you share their happiness, unka sukh dukh jab aap apna manne lagoge, only then you are fit to be the right instrument to do the work of Swamiji in those far off lands. And that is how 1972, after Vivekananda Kendra started, and in 1974, after the training of the first batch was over, the Jivanvrati Karyakartas were sent to northeastern part in Arunachal Pradesh. Now, in those days, it was a very difficult terrain. That is, after the Karyakartas became one with the people in 1977, Eknathji started 7 Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalayas in those days. So, for a teacher to reach his place of posting after he reaches Assam, he has to travel by bus, then he has to go in a boat, then he has to go in a truck, then that or a small jeep, then that will go on a ferry, then again he has to walk, then again he has to cross another stream. Sometimes the stream will have such a force, so he may have to climb on elephant, and ultimately the teacher will reach his place of posting. If suppose the father dies or the mother dies, the teacher cannot get immediate information. The information will go to the administrative headquarters of all these Vidyalayas at Dibrugarh. Then it will go to army headquarters in northeast. From there it will go to their nearest post. From there a Jawan will walk up to the school and the information will reach. After that the teacher reaches the home. Even if suppose he reaches for the 10th day, that would be his great fortune. So such were the days, and yet in those days the school started. Today communications have improved. Today there is mobile everywhere, the roads have improved, and in many places the bridges are coming. So naturally Vivekananda Kendra can increase its pace of work. It can go to more areas. There is so much demand for good schools. But for all such things, lot of support is also needed, because in those days government of Arunachal did give support in building school buildings and all that, all capital expenditure. But today it is unable to do. Even the recurrent expenditure also, government is giving only 30%. And that is how, if we want to take school on large scale, the education to the people, that is where Kendra appeals to you. Not only there, for example, there are many children who cannot go to Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya. So Vivekananda Kendra started Anandalayas. That is the children who are going to government schools. They are called every day. They are given guidance. Then they are given values. So for example, in Assam, in all the tea gardens, we all enjoy tea very much. But that tea which is plucked by the laborers, they live in a very pathetic condition. And, TB is rampant. There is no hygiene. The children either don't go to school. If they go also, that school has no standard. It's just some school in a village. So when this Anandalaya Kendra started, Anandalaya became the nucleus of each that tea garden basti. And it's not only coaching and teaching the children, but there Kendra started conducting bhajans every week in one house. Now it was not just a bhajan, because for bhajan people come, so bhajan became a medium. But before the bhajan, the whole house will be cleaned, the drainage will be done by all these Anandalaya children, the Acharya, all put together. And after that, the lamp will be lighted there, and there it would be told that please no drinking for at least 1 week, and then no beating, no scolding, and then medical checkup will be done. Then next week it will go to the next house, and like that, wherever Vivekananda Kendra started its Anandalayas, the TB cases came down. In some bastis it became zero. Now, when we start Anandalaya, to sustain its complete functioning, we start at least 25 in one go. So for each Anandalaya, the expenses are hardly 15,000 per year, and 25 for one Anandalaya, and 25 if we start, and taking all the Acharya's training and all together, it comes hardly 5 lakhs. You can just imagine, in 5 lakhs, the health, the education gets improved in that locality. So there are many more things that could be done. Again, to narrate one example to you, Mananiya Dovalji was telling us about the insurgency, how NACN, NACN had tried some 15 years before to increase its hold on few districts of Arunachal Pradesh. It started with Tirap, then it started entering in Changlang. When it entered in Changlang, in Arunachal Pradesh, one movement has started, because earlier the whole life was dharma. So there is no everyday puja is required. But when they found that they had to face different forces, and therefore they started having, so in Changlang, there we pray to Rangphra. So 2 Rangphra temples were built where people could gather together. The militants went and burnt both the temples. And not only that, they told, whosoever builds it will be shot dead. Now the people were nonplussed. What is to be done? They were frightened. They told us whether you can make it a national issue. We tried to go to media, but nothing happened. Only in one paper it came, one community's 2 temples were burned by some other people, like that. Very vague type. Ultimately, people thought, as Swami Vivekananda has told, that we had to stand on our own feet. And that's how the villagers thought, if we all come together and we build the temple overnight, whom the militants are going to shoot. And that's what they did, even whether it is 80-year-old man or a small baby. They all stood at the venue, the bamboos were kept ready, and the 2 temples for Rangphra were built. The militants could not digest it, and so they said, you had to give 2 lakhs rupees fine. The villagers said, of course we can't give. Then the 2 lakhs became 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh, 1 lakh, 50,000. Ultimately they told, at least give us 1 meals. And the villagers told, okay, that we can give. And that is how today Changlang district has 74 temples.